look historically at media usage and look at the traditional media, it's fair to say, as Rick pointed out with TV news, that each generation of Americans uses the traditional media less than the previous generation. So the best newspaper readers are over 55, the best TV news viewers are over 65. And the focus of the traditional media for growth and sustainability has been, how do we get young people to use this? How do we get young people engaged? And so a year ago we did a study that we called the Teen Internet Study. The title of the study is If It Catches My Eye. And the research was done looking at what caused young people, the next generation of voters, to get engaged in news stories on the internet. And there are a couple of key findings there that I think are relevant to marketing and to the future of politics. One is the aggregator's rule. They're more likely than not to go to the big aggregators on a website rather than go to a local news site. And so making sure the stories are out there and aggregated in some ways is very important to telling the story and getting the message across. The other thing I took away from that study that I think is relevant to this is the power of parents and teachers in directing young people to social issues and their interest in things. It's pretty overwhelming in the study that the young people said almost to a person, I would never go to a news website on my own. But when my teacher gave me an assignment to go to the New York Times and look this up, I got engaged. Or when I was told to go to CNN, I saw that story that was assigned, and then something else caught my eye and I clicked on it. And so the message we've been delivering for strategies for media companies is that you need to market to parents and teachers as well as the teenager if you want to get them engaged in the product, in the news product, or socially committed. The next study we did was looking at the use of cell phones and what consumers generally want from their cell phones. What we found from that study is that young and old alike in 44 countries want local news first, weather second, and sports results third. So what they want is the morning television broadcast on their cell phone. So that's a real threat to traditional TV. Young people much more interested in national and international news than local news. They have very little interest in the local community unless they've gotten socially engaged through a school assignment or through a volunteer program or that type of thing. The next study that we've just completed will be published before July 2nd because our senior researcher has that deadline, is looking at teens and politics and what causes teens to seek out news about politics. And the more you can add to this, if I'm overgeneralizing or oversimplifying, but I think the main headline there is brand is huge. So CNN as a serious political brand for teenagers is very big. It may not be the biggest brand for everybody, but for teenagers, if they want to know about politics, CNN rules to a much higher degree than some of the brands we might assume, like MTV. And I think it's fair to say that in our research that we'll be publishing, we'll be able to say that the teenagers really don't think politics should be on MTV. That it just seems that there's some dissonance to it. That if you want serious political news, you need to go to the serious news brands. That's a real surprise for us.